Hello, precious little unicorn that you are.
This is chapter 21 of How to Ruin Your Life. Know that the rules of reasonable, decent conduct don't apply to you. Rise above it all. Let me give you a few examples as if you needed them. Income taxes. They're a major pain in the butt to figure out. You have to collect all kinds of documents, go through them, sort them, make notes, and then you often have to shell out some cash. Sometimes, a lot of cash. Well, only idiots pay their full income tax. Don't you recall that fine example of a noble life, Leona Hemsley, saying that only the little people pay taxes? Learn from her, you big lovable lug. In fact, why bother to submit a return at all? It's a ton of work. And hey, there's hundreds of millions of other people filing their returns. What the heck does the IRS need one more for? The employees at the IRS are just ordinary working schmoes just like you. Why burden them with extra paper? And if and when you do file and do it wrong, don't worry. The IRS will never catch you. Sorry. Having worked for a tax resolution company, sorry. If they do, they'll just chuckle and tell you to please not do it again. Everyone knows that the IRS is good-natured and sweet and easy to get along with. Have you ever had an audit? Then you know how very well what great people they are. They love a good laugh, especially at their own expense. They're just a bunch of bureaucrats who want to hang around the water cooler all day telling dirty jokes. Save them a little work. And save yourself a lot. And see how grateful the IRS folks are. Again, if you do file, don't even think of paying what you actually owe. Just pay what you feel like. It's enough of a pain in the butt to pay anything at all as it is. You've got to leave some for yourself. Let the other poor slobs pick up the slack. Next, driving. I hope he talks about the blinkers. Hey, pal, you own the road. Drive any old way you please. Only geeks go the speed limit. You're in a hurry. And besides, you were born knowing how to be a race car driver. Those speed limits apply to the little old ladies and whips. You could drive 80 anywhere in the city or on the highway with your eyes closed. And sometimes I'll bet you do, you rascal. And never have a problem. At least a true Indy class driver like you can do is drive at any speed you find comfortable. Buckle up your safety belts. Why? You're not gonna crash. And hey, the belt makes your shoulder itch. Besides, you read somewhere where it's better not to wear your safety belt because you can get trapped in your car when you need to get out in an emergency. Like to have a drink or buy something. Signal when changing the lanes. Oh yes. Signal when changing lanes. What for? That's someone else's problem, not yours. Tune up your car and get your brakes checked? You would if you had time, but you're busy. Let the other people on the road worry about you. You don't have the time right now to worry about them. Anyway, you're never going to have an accident. I mean, you've never even gotten a ticket, right? Next, smoking. Another pet peeve. Hey, you're not a baby. You can do what you want. So if there's a mountain of data that warns that smoking can kill you or give you cancer that eats away at your tongue and liver and lungs, didn't you just see a WW2 war movie with John Wayne where all those guys were smoking? And weren't they as tough as old boots? Sure they were. Remember how the Duke kicked all the Nazi ass? Not only that, but in every single gangster movie, those guys are smoking. So why can't you? And didn't you meet some guy who told you that his uncle smoked all his life and lived to be 88? Hey, George Burns smoked a lot of cigars and lived to be 100. Plus, smoking makes you feel good. Just one drag, and that rich, lovely nicotine is all over your lungs and blood, making you feel safe and secure. Take a deep puff and watch a third of the cigarette turn to ash, and that goes right into your immortal cardiopulmonary system. Enjoy yourself. Planning for the future. Yet another topic to cover. No way. You're a happy-go-lucky guy or doll. You need to enjoy the moment. It takes too much brain power to think beyond this very moment. It creates furrows in your brow. So why the heck bother? Actually write down some plans and some numbers and try to live within them? I don't think so. I believe that spells nerd, N-E-R-D. And that ain't you. Did you ever see James Dean making little budgets or plans on a sheet of yellow legal paper? Did you ever see Clint Eastwood doing it or Tom Cruise? What about Liz Taylor or Julia Roberts? Then why would you do it? Do you think that a living, breathing deity has to make dopey little plans? No. You have control of the future. So why should you have to worry about it? The future will be whatever you want it to be. Home ownership. Next. Buy a house so you won't be paying rent all your life? That's too much hassle. It's a lot of work to fill out all those mortgage forms. Plus, you have to shop around and pack up and move. But hey, maybe a good fairy will just magically move you to a house. Anyway, this all comes under the heading of worrying about the future, and that's a big no. You already know this, but the future will take care of itself. You don't have to do a darn thing you don't want to do. Next, being reliable. Return things you borrow. Pfft, why? They're your things now. Besides, who cares? There'll always be another sucker to give you whatever you need. Return money you borrow? I don't think so. I mean, what on earth is the point of borrowing money if you have to pay it back? What good does that do you? You'd just be in the same position you were in before if every asset was also a liability. For royalty like you, there's really no such concept as borrow. There's give, as in gimme, and take, as in I'll take that. Those are the only options And by God, we know who the taker is in this world. It's you. I want to emphasize this again. Why borrow if you just have to repay it? No, don't think about it. Don't even think about it. Hygiene. Next subject. Oh, here's a good one. Don't bother to keep yourself neat and clean. Of course, you can't stand the smell of body odor and bad breath and stale cigarettes and whiskey on others. It's disgusting, but when it emanates from you, it smells like the finest French perfume. You have the right to expect others to be fresh as a daisy, but you don't have to be. That's not in your job description, and more than it's expected that babies or Greek gods would have to dress themselves and keep themselves spick and span. You can look any old way you want, and people will be happy to have you around. Period. Yep. When it comes to any of the above situations, you can do whatever the heck you feel like. But you get to complain and criticize every other person on earth for any old reason you want. And that's what rising above it all is all about. Not How to Ruin Your Life by Stein, and that was chapter 21. Know that the rules of reasonable, decent conduct don't apply to you.
Oh, look at him.